Today on TNT Big Show, well, here come the price hikes. Microsoft is raising prices. All today on TNT Big Show. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is me, Michelle Nantucket.
And this is Sean.
Welcome to TNT Big Show, and now let's get right into the news. Well, unfortunately, this is the longest, saddest I told you so ever. And we tried to warn people about Trump and these tariffs, so a lot of people just didn't listen. A lot of people didn't even know what tariffs were until after the election.
Yeah, it had to be after. They wouldn't look them up before.
Well, I also blame the mainstream media.
Oh.
They should have educated people. Because
they should have.
Unfortunately, there's still a lot of people that listen to those idiots. They should have done some research on their own, not just rely on the mainstream media. You know, and now that people have looked it up, they're terrified, and well, the nightmare is starting to happen.
Yeah, I want to see outrage from the video game media, the Xbox fanboy. I want to see outrage on this.
Yeah, or you're just hypocrites.
Yeah.
You know, like, Nintendo's a toy company. They shouldn't raise their prices. I mean, that's the kind of vibe I'm getting, because some guy said he didn't mind if Grand Theft Auto was $80 and it's $6, but Mario Kart, oh God, and I'm just like, then you're a hypocrite.
Just because it's got cartoony graphics.
Yeah, but anyway, this is from Nintendo Life, written by Ollie Reynolds. Xbox is raising the price of consoles, accessories, and games worldwide. Say hello to more $80 games. And this is from the article. Quote, as detailed by the game business, the U.S. is being impacted the most, with the Xbox Series X raising by $100 to $599, and the Xbox Series X rising by $80 to $429.99. Europe, the Series X price has increased by $50 to £559.99, and the Series S has also increased by $50 to £349.99. In the UK, the Series X has risen by $499. I think they're talking about the digital version. And the Series S has risen by $50 to $299.99. Finally, in Australia, the Series X has risen by $50 to $849, and the Series S by $50 to $549.
So, y'all, it's Nintendo's greedy business practices. Bunch of idiots.
I mean, number one, I'm just going to say this. A lot of you all really need to take business classes. And also, a lot of you all who are actually listen and we're right, which we're not right all the time, but we've been wrong a lot. You know, I mean, it's not that we're right, it's just facts. You know, and now Microsoft has raised the price. It makes the Switch 2 look like a more attractive offer.
I knew this was going to happen. I knew it was.
For all you gamers who voted for Trump, congratulations. You pretty much brought this on yourself. Not being educated, not doing the research, you know. I know people live busy lives. I know a lot of people have to work 14, 15 hours a day. But you can't mean to tell me that when you get home, you can't take 1 minute to look up what is a tariff.
Or anything political. I mean, it's on Google.
Now, for anyone who doesn't know what a tariff still is, I don't care if we only educate 5 people.
It's a tax.
Right, but I'm going to explain it. I'll put in the description where you can skip ahead to.
Well, real quick, Amazon is putting the tariff prices that they're being charged, and Trump and them are going nuts over it. It's a tax. It's what it is.
It's basically a tax on imports. And who pays for it? Consumers, the taxpayers. They're the ones who pay for it. I do not like them at all, but I saw on Fox News, which was played by, I think, the Midas Touch? Yeah. Footage where a toy company maker who made toys for special needs children, his business went under because his tariff, yes, he had a tariff. You know, Trump acts like America didn't impose tariffs on other countries. Yeah, we always had, but still, they're here too. It went from $26,000 to over $300,000, and he didn't make enough money, and his business was under. And you could tell it was bad because even the cold-hearted, Trump-loving bootlickers at Fox News, they had a horrified, sad look on their face.
And you can say, bull crap. His tariffs were that much. Trump charged China the 450, yes, not 4%, 450% tariff raise on China.
Yeah. Yes, it's a tax on us.
You know, with Amazon.
Yep.
They're showing you how much tariffs, the taxpayer, you are going to pay for each item. Trump's little administration is blowing a gasket over this, but it's just the truth.
Yeah. I wish more people had been educated, because I love video games, and this has really caused a lot of people to go, whoa, may not want to pay that much, you know, and if the Switch 2 stays at its price, it's basically going to run away with the sales.
Yeah.
But if somebody wanted a PlayStation or an Xbox, it may be out of their range.
Yeah.
But heck, I think even if the Switch 2 went above $499, that would probably, it would impact its sales too. It would, you know. So I think this is going to impact Microsoft and Sony. And, well, you know what? One good thing is, a lot of people who like our videos say we're underrated and that we need more subscribers. So you know what? Hit the subscribe button. If you like what you're watching, it's free and it's quick. Hit the subscribe button, ring the notification bell. Now back to the video. But it's unfortunate. People voted for this clown. 70 million people, my God. I know people are like, why are you getting insult? You know what? I'm mad because a lot of you should have known better.
No, let's just face it, Michelle. Like, we didn't know. I call people who say they didn't that liars. You're liars. What do you mean, Sean? You thought Trump was going to fix the economy. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. We thought Republicans were better at the economy. No, you didn't. You didn't want to vote for a black woman. That's what it all comes down. You're calling us racist, Sean? You're racist. That's why you wouldn't vote for a black woman.
I mean, before people cry that we're just being woke, define woke for me, okay?
Yeah.
But anyway, why is it, and like I said, I don't like Hillary Clinton. Kamala she was meh.
Well, the thing I liked about Kamala was her vice president, Tim Walz.
Yep.
He was really progressive.
Yeah, I liked him. Yeah. See, here's the thing. Two highly qualified, and yes, Hillary was qualified too. Secretary of State, a senator, a lawyer, and two highly qualified women lost to Trump. And only the old white guy could beat him. And if Joe Biden's cognitive abilities hadn't went down, I guarantee you, Biden would have beat
him again.
So don't tell me that it doesn't have nothing to do with it.
Yeah, that's bullcrap.
The country is being exposed for having its deep-seated racism and sexism exposed. So, I don't want to hear you cry and complain about it.
Yeah.
If the amount of melanin on your skin matters more than being able to afford things you want, being able to afford things you need, even though their lives have gotten worse and everything, you know, if you're like that, then yes, you deserve all the bad things that happen to you because you're trying to inflict pain on others. Grow up, get a life, and get over your little obsession with being superior to other people just because your skin is lighter than other people's. I got news for you, honey. If you go by science, you know, and actual empirical evidence, everybody started out as black. And only when the continent shifted apart up north and stuff did a lot of races get lighter and melanin and everything.
And everyone, if you go by science, it's absolutely true, is born female. It's only until the 14th day of pregnancy does it body chemistries and stuff decide whether to go male or female.
Actually, even then, sometimes the gender doesn't make up their mind until like 6 months, or sometimes not until 8 months. But yes, most of the time it's, you know.
Yeah, but still, we all start out as female.
Yeah. Remember Trump and them on that one? You're the gender that you're conceived as. Okay, then every single human being on the face of the planet is a bunch of idiots.
Yeah.
And I know people don't like that. Why call people names? Because I'm sick and tired of morons and bigots ruining life for the rest of us.
Yep. There is stuff a word is stupid. Are stupid, not ignorant, stupid people in this country.
I mean, look how far down we went in science, math, literacy, and everything. We are just falling behind, and it doesn't seem that the MAGA inbreds care.
It's just like, Stu, you had to have a college education. Now you don't. Hell, you don't even have to have a high school education anymore. They're hiring 12 and 11-year-old kids at McDonald's and stuff now.
They're trying to get away with that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to look up this news story. I'm like, what? This all has to do with the tariffs. Because how did we get here? How in the hell did we get to this situation where now even our favorite pastime is going to be out of reach for a lot of people? And it shouldn't. It's greed. It's corporate greed. You know what? To a point, I agree with that on some. But you also got to remember that companies take money to run.
Yeah, they don't. It's not a charity.
Yeah.
It's a business.
It sucks, but we live in a capitalist market system. You know, because I knew a guy who ran a comic book store, and he loved to be a consumer-friendly comic book seller. So he would mark down the prices of comic books all the time from the manufacturer suggested retail price. And what happened, Sean? They went out of business.
They went out of business, yeah.
Because he said he kept losing money. He just said, I wanted to make the customers happy. And I understand that. You know, you do want to make customers happy. And it is hard for a lot of people right now. But the unfortunate thing is, if businesses don't make a profit, one of these days, them blowing their money like crazy will catch up to them. Sony and Microsoft have raised the prices of their online to $160 to $200 a year. You guys praise them for lowering their prices, unlike Nintendo. Well, do you pay $150 to $200 a year for the online service of Nintendo Online? No, you don't.
Just $50 for the Switch 1 and just $50 for the Switch 2.
Yeah, so please knock it off. You have to realize that your outrage is misplaced. It has to do with economics. It has to do with politics. Because if wages would have kept up with inflation, nobody would bat an eye about paying higher prices for stuff.
No, but see, Michelle, there's the thing. The greedy, devil-worshipping conglomerate business owners, they did a little trick, which the mainstream media caught on to, and now California had a chance to raise the whole state, not just fast food, to $20 an hour. Guess what happened? Californians and the liberals and everybody struck it down. The reason? Well, the companies will start laying off people and prices will skyrocket. And people buy that crap. Because when they did it in California for the fast food restaurants, Wendy's and all of them started laying off people. They started raising prices, which is something these greedy, monstrous, selfish, pig-faced CEOs don't have to do.
This is something I know. There's one. Tell me how much Furukawa makes about $100 million a year. Oh, wait. He doesn't, and they don't. At least they put a lot of their money back into their employees, the benefits, and all of that stuff.
Real quick.
And by that I mean full-time employees. You know, unfortunately, contract workers, after a year is up, they usually get laid off. I'm talking about people who are hired there, full-time work. They always treat these people good, and they don't lay people off. So there's your difference. That's why Sean and I don't jump onto Nintendo like we do other companies. I'm just going to close by saying that this has been a nightmare. And, you know, unfortunately, because of bigoted, ignorant, and just downright stupid people, video gamers are going to be hitting the pocketbook pretty hard.
But we wanted cheaper eggs and groceries to go down. Liars. You knew that wasn't going to happen. Really, you knew. Trump couldn't wave a magical wand and make it happen. The reality is, the bird flu was still going on. There's lots of chickens and birds that are still getting killed. The prices of eggs have not gone down because of it.
Yeah, and I don't know, man. I'm just telling you, a lot of people, you didn't do the research, you didn't get educated, or you just didn't care and wanted to see other groups suffer that you don't like.
And you were racist and sexist. Good old-fashioned bigot. I don't want to see a black woman in there. That makes our country look weak.
Yeah, and also, Sean and I both are Gen Xers. I'm disgusted at that generation because
I hate them.
That's the only generation that Trump has actually gained support with. Even the baby boomers have dumped Trump now. This is only begun. It's only going to get worse from here. Damn every single one of you who voted for this egotistical, narcissist, shallow buffoon.
I tell you folks, Trump, being the little cryback sissy that he is, China ain't budging.
No.
I'm going to get my way. I got hundreds of deals. No, you don't. Liar. And what surprised me, by the end of his 4th year, China has a 5,000% tariff on them. And the Nintendo Switch will be $800. The PlayStation 5 would be $1,200. Series X will be $1,300. Really, it's not going to surprise me.
Don't give him any ideals, Sean. That idiot has already caused enough damage. You know, I mean, it's just, prices are just up. They're way up, and they're going to keep going up. It's great. Let's see you guys try to run a company with hundreds of thousands of employees and lose billions upon billions of dollars year after year. Let's see you do that.
Yeah, ask a claim. You don't know who that is? Look it up.
So I'm tired. I'm not even going to trash on Sony and Microsoft for this one reason. They are supposed to at least make some money. And yet you rebels out there talk about your PC when those things are priced up to 4 times higher than what they were made. You think you're some sort of rebel by getting a PC? No, you're a bigger corporate bootlicker than the biggest Nintendo, Sony, or Microsoft fanboy or girl. So shut up, and don't think your PCs aren't going to get hit either. They are.
Yeah.
You know, so just stop. I mean, I wish the economy wasn't just run off profits. But until we can figure out something better to do, unfortunately, that's what it's run off of. And Nintendo's going to be taking a hit with the Switch 2. They're already taking a loss for every system they sell. And Sony and Microsoft don't make much, they don't make much at all off of the Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5 sales. What do you want them to do? Lose $1 billion every day? I don't like Sony, but seriously, Sony is not stupid.
No. Yeah, we want cheaper prices. They want cheaper prices. 1 year later, they went out of business. What happened?
Yeah, like I said, you're blaming the wrong things. This is what our government and the elite corporations love to do, even bigger than Nintendo, Sony, and them. This is what these big banking, pharmaceutical companies and them, this is who is really in control of everything. And they wanted to keep your wages down so they could get more profits. They raised prices up, and see people like, well, why do they do this? Companies want to make money. That's just a sad fact of reality. Okay? My only problem when Sony and Microsoft want to make money so much is when they lay off people. They lay off their employees and stuff. You know, that's what bothers me.
It's just so amazing that when these right MAGA Nazis, they're like, we don't want people to, that's their money. They make it. We don't want them to tax millionaires and billionaires out the door. We want them to keep their money. Come to yourself and everything. Why is everything so expensive?
Yeah.
I mean, you just said you didn't want them to be taken, you wanted to keep their money. But then, why is everything so expensive? Why do I have to pay so much? Because you want the billionaire and millionaires to keep their money.
And like, well, we just don't want to see people mooch off of government welfare. Elon Musk is the biggest corporate welfare king, queen in the world.
Wow.
He has taken over $28 billion in federal funds and everything. Yes, they were given to him by the government. But yet you guys want to blame transgenders, minorities, immigrants, the single mom, the poor black woman living down the street who has to work 2 jobs just to keep her head above ground. Yet you're blaming it all on them, and you're not blaming it on the people like Donald Trump, Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, and all the rest of these clowns. You know, it's one thing when you're a business. It's another thing when you put your politics in there. You know, that's another thing I give Sony and even Microsoft. They keep their politics out of their businesses. Is that Amazon and all them are really trying to hurt you while still making more money. That's who I get mad at. You know, Nintendo, you guys always like to call them evil. They're probably one of the least evil big companies in the world.
And you know why they call them evil? Because they kept the blood out of Mortal Kombat 1 5,000 years ago on their Super Nintendo.
Well, yeah, also, it's just like, my God, Nintendo raises prices. Everybody else is raising them too. And they won't let us steal, emulator pirate their games, you know? And I'm like, yeah, I know. That's
steal, exactly.
Yeah. One of the big 3 companies always becomes a punching bag. For a while, it was Sony. For a while, it was Microsoft. And now Nintendo's taking the brunt. Who knows who it'll be a couple of years from now. So right now, people want to look at Nintendo as the devil. And in reality, they're neither a saint nor a devil. They're just a company wanting to make money.
Well, I'll tell you where they got this from. People like in the decades ago, a little magazine called Electronic Gaming Monthly. Here, ladies and gentlemen, is the owner of Nintendo, Yamauchi. I'll swallow your soul, I'll swallow your soul, I'll swallow your soul.
Yeah.
That crap just kept lingering on. Yep. Nintendo really couldn't seem to shake that.
Yeah, I mean, because I know a lot of people are used to, like, the PlayStation 1 when games were $40, you know, and I was like, well, that is a good deal, actually. But you gotta remember, CDs were only quarter to produce. It's not that way anymore.
No.
Blu-rays, cartridges, 4Ks are a lot more expensive than that. You know, the jewel cases and stuff, they could make those for dimes. And I don't know, I just wish that Trump hadn't got elected, and these tariffs are just driving up cost. And it's going to continue to drive up cost, and it's going to hurt the video game industry if this continues. This is me, Michelle Nantucket.
And this is Sean.
Have a good one. Thank you for staying to the end of the video and watching it. If you like all of our videos, don't you join our other social medias like TikTok, Discord, Reddit, Instagram, Thread, X, and our WordPress blog. You can also support us by joining Patreon for as little as $1 a month, where you will get exclusive content, uncut videos, behind the scenes, watch that trailer, Jack's joke of the week, and my sports input. If you join the $25 tier, I will send you an autographed copy of The Buzzies for free. If you love horror movies and independent content, we're a great place to come and visit because we love supporting other independent creators and stuff. When you support us, you're supporting people who do all of this by ourselves. Me, Michelle, I'm the editor, I'm the director of the videos, I'm the producer, Sean's the executive producer and content creator. So thank you everybody, and please look into supporting our Patreon, as it really does help out. Just $1 a month. Thank you and have a wonderful day.